This is Community Close-Up with Jay Dow. Brought to you by Jacoby & Myers, New York's personal injury attorneys.
I don't necessarily think it's going to stifle protests.
Honestly, I think I disagree with that. I think there's already been a stifling.
Debating the future of free speech on campus. Plus,
I was fighting to keep custody of my son to prevent that.
How parents in crisis can get help without surrendering their kids to foster care. And
I don't even think about my childhood trauma no more because now I'm able to help someone out not go through that trauma.
the Queen of Harlem who makes underserved youth feel like royalty. Plus, honoring World Autism Awareness Day.
I get to interact with people, help with food prep and barista.
One cup of Joe at a time.
Welcome to Pix 11 Community Close-Up. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host, Jay Dow. We've spent the last year covering protests at Columbia University, some peaceful, others not, stemming from the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The Trump administration has already pulled the school's federal funding while it seeks to deport students who participated in protests, and the fallout continues. Just in the last few days, Columbia's interim president, who declined our request to participate in this segment, resigned on Friday. And several Columbia graduates returned to the campus gates this past weekend to rip up their diplomas in protest. What does this all mean for the future of free speech and student activism on college campuses? Well, we went uptown to Columbia's neighborhood to talk it out. We're in Morningside Heights, just off the edge of Columbia University's campus, and I'm joined by Columbia medical student and university senator Akash Kapoor, Donna Lieberman, executive director of the New York Civil Liberties Union, and Adam Lahode, Columbia undergrad and president of the College Republicans. Thank you each for being here. Let's jump right into it, and this question is for the group. Moving forward, what do you think is going to be the impact on a student's general willingness to engage in student activism and participate in protests, given everything that has been happening on campus?
Well, I can tell you what I think it'll be and what I hope it won't be. Unfortunately, Columbia, as an important institution in the life of New York and in the country, has really failed to stand up for the essence of education in a democracy, which is academic freedom. It has failed to protect its students' right to protest. It's failed to protect its faculty and its staff. So I expect that there will be a chilling effect on the people's willingness to go out and speak their mind. I hope that there won't be, because if ever there was a place where free discussion, inquiry, and debate has to be able to happen, it's the university campus. And if ever there was a time for it, it's now.
Adam, you're president of the College Republicans. Do you agree with how congressional Republicans in the Trump administration has engaged with Columbia up to this point?
I think it's fair enough that something needed to be done to make sure that people wanting to protest abide by the rules. I don't necessarily think it's going to stifle protest. I don't think it's necessarily going to stifle conversation. I think rather the changes that have been made by Columbia are going to urge students to make sure they're sticking to the rules.
So you don't think what has happened has discouraged students' willingness to speak up?
I don't think it discourages willingness to speak up. I think it's going to channel students to make sure they're doing it in a respectful way that allows other people to also engage in that.
Honestly, I think I disagree with that. I think there's already been a stifling of not just protests, but ability to have conversation. I think people are already scared to have conversation with their peers, with their friends. They don't know what other people believe in, and I think there's this hostility towards freedom of speech, right? There's this hostility towards engaging in conversation with people that have different viewpoints with you. I was having a conversation with some folks about coming to the table and what it would take to have a conversation with people that, share a different viewpoint. And the response I got was, that's impossible. It's not possible to have that conversation because they don't fundamentally, regard me and regard my rights. And I think that there is already this problem we're facing where people and students are struggling to have conversation with people that believe different things. And so it's not just a difficulty to protest, it's even just a difficulty to have conversation.
Everything that we've been talking about has centered around the Israeli-Palestinian protest. I'm interested to know if you think this bleeds over moving forward to other subjects. Maybe there are issues involving race or gender. What happens then?
Well, the President of the United States has made it clear that talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and talking about fighting back against discrimination is forbidden. It's not okay with this administration. I think we have every reason to believe that this administration wants to silence all the views that disagree with him, that all the views that are contrary to the policies of this administration. That's a very dangerous situation for us to be in.
Well, let me push back and play devil's advocate here. There are many who say that the protest got out of hand. Some of the concessions that Columbia made include students having to identify themselves if they're wearing masks. Is that a step in the right direction given what we saw on campus? Adam?
I think absolutely. I think if a small minority of students are just dominating the entire conversation and preventing other students from going to classes, people from hosting forums where a productive conversation can actually happen, then that's what prevents free speech. I think this is actually a step in the right direction because it allows for more productive forums to take place.
Really? More productive forums? You know, a student is in jail in Louisiana because he did nothing illegal, but because he participated in protest. He is not accused, Mahmoud Khalil is not accused of breaking a single rule, yet he is subject to deportation by this administration. His green card has been revoked. That is not like allowing peaceful protest. That's not allowing a free debate, free exercise of debate. No, that's retaliating against people who have what are deemed to be the wrong ideas.
Akash, we are running out of time. I'll give you the last word. You're a university senator.
Sure.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, Jay, I think this is a bipartisan issue, right? And it's not just focally to this issue. I think the problem is that we need to set clear standards for what it means to have a right to protest, for what it means to have a right for free speech, right? If you look back 5 years, right, we were looking at a different issue, at different people's rights, a different people's belief system, right? And what it meant to protest at a different time. And I think it's just very important that the standards we set today are the standards we hold for everyone, right? I think of this as from the lens of a doctor. For me, every time I walk into a patient's room, right, I respect every patient's autonomy. I believe in beneficence for every patient. My belief system, it doesn't matter what I believe, right? I'm thinking about my patient and what care they need and what they believe in. And I think we need to treat everyone the same way. And so what we say now for one person's belief system is how we should treat other people's belief system too. And we need to put into context, right? If I'm protesting for something I believe in, how would I want to be treated? I think that's what's super important as we go forward.
Akash, Donna, Adam, thank you so much for being here. I think only time will tell what will be the general impact on a student's willingness to speak up and engage in student activism. There's a lot more Community Close-Up coming up right after the break. Stay with us.
Next, it's called Foundation Place, creating the building blocks of safe spaces for at-risk families. That's coming up on Community Close-Up. You're watching Community Close-Up with Jay Dow.
For parents who have limited or no family support, a crisis can sadly lead to a journey through the foster care system. But a one-of-a-kinds program in Brooklyn is changing that with an innovative approach to emergency child care.
Michelle Lopez does not, for one moment, take for granted the privilege of being a loving mother to her two sons.
Do you like having a little brother?
Yeah.
5-year-old Mello and 4-month-old Blue. That's because toward the end of last year's pregnancy and with no family support, Michelle found herself on the brink of losing Mello to New York City's foster care system.
They wasn't giving clear answers on where he was going.
And just as importantly, the opportunity to raise her two little heartbeats together.
I was fighting to keep custody of my son to prevent that.
Fortunately, that fight ended with Michelle's embrace of a new safety net called Foundation Place, a first-of-its-kind facility located in Brooklyn, where she was able to temporarily leave her son in good hands without subjecting her family to the separation, scrutiny, and red tape that often comes with intervention from a social worker.
It was like a lot of help.
Foundation Place, operated by the nonprofit Rising Ground, is free of charge to parents citywide, runs 24/7 with an accompanying emergency hotline, and can host children from birth up to 14 years old for up to 21 days.
A respite center is often the last resort.
Sue Samponia is Rising Ground's Chief Programming Officer.
We try to ensure that there's a continuity in the child's life during that time, so that even during a time of disruption and crisis, they do have some normalcy.
This short-term service filling a void in an underserved community where options are limited for in-crisis parents of children who are more than a month old.
I'm done. I killed my grandson.
Children like 3-year-old King Royal Foster. That's his grandmother, standing outside SUNY Downstate Hospital in East Flatbush, Brooklyn, where the boy's mother dropped off his body at the emergency room and then took off.
I don't have no more grandkids.
From tragedy to hope, Rising Ground, the nonprofit, is working to bolster the community safety net by rolling out a full court press of family services, including the grand opening of the Yard Enrichment Center, also nestled in the heart of Flatbush, offering everything from a children's library to computer access and resume assistance, a laundry area, and the use of a community kitchen. Rising Ground CEO says this new community hub is designed to meet families where they're at.
If that means a pantry, a food pantry, or a cooking class, or a group of mothers who are getting together to talk about how they're raising their children, we're going to make that happen for them.
Back at Foundation Place, Little Mello easily fell right back into the groove during a recent visit.
After we build the house, we can play Uno.
Okay, we can play Uno after we build the house.
Proof positive of the love, care, and help this family found in this place when they needed it the most.
It's just another support outlet for mothers.
Coming up, she's known as the Queen of Harlem, transforming childhood trauma into a life of community service. Her powerful story right after the break.
You're watching Community Close-Up with Jay Dow.
From a murdered father and drug-addicted mother to time behind bars, Michelle Smalls has the kind of story that rarely leads to entrepreneurial success. But as our Hazel Sanchez found out, the woman known as the Queen of Harlem has for years been devoting her own time and money to keeping at-risk teens on the right path.
To many, Michelle Smalls is considered royalty. She's an influencer, a real estate broker, and owner of 7 businesses. But her selfless contributions to the underserved and underprivileged are what earned her the title of the Queen of Harlem.
It's refreshing. It's refreshing to see how this little bit of money that could just change so many lives.
Michelle is incredibly modest about her countless acts of kindness. For nearly 2 decades, she's pulled from her own pocket to help ease the financial burden of struggling families in the Harlem neighborhood where she grew up. Every year, she's held a massive winter coat and toy drive, a free back-to-school event providing school supplies, and an Easter giveaway with baskets and outfits for Easter Sunday. Every event drawing long lines of grateful families.
People don't understand giving really helps me out. It really changed the dynamics. I don't even think about my childhood trauma no more because now I'm able to help someone out not go through that trauma.
Michelle's mother was a drug addict. Her father was murdered when she was just 1 year old. Most would think her future was written in stone. She'd prove them all wrong.
Actually, not having a father made me a lot stronger than the average because I had to do a lot more than the average. I sold drugs, I went to jail, and you know, I didn't want that for me. I was very smart in school, but I had nothing. So I did what I had to do.
We outside with it. Michelle used her own money to start the Marcus Garvey Summer Basketball Tournament. And when these coaches recently asked her to help save their public school athletic league basketball program at Brandeis High School, she didn't hesitate.
Everything that we needed, she got it for us, and we was able to get more kids. Like on Saturdays, we average 75 kids. Now we're getting 100 and something kids. And I know those additional kids are life-saved.
A year ago, one of the program's star athletes, 18-year-old Ashley Ballard, was gunned down in Harlem. Her death inspiring Michelle to launch a junior high basketball tournament this winter. Ashley's mother is deeply moved.
The fact that she found light, I guess, at the end of this dark tunnel, you know, I really appreciate that, because the work that she does is the work that we need.
What I love about it is like it's genuine. Like, I want to help. I don't want to be in the spotlight. Let's just get it done for the kids.
Michelle treated the tournament winning team with a $5,000 cash prize and tickets to see the Brooklyn Nets, inspiring them to stay focused to achieve their hoop dreams.
Just a big thank you, because like for her and her efforts, we might not be able to be here today.
For Community Close-Up, I'm Hazel Sanchez.
Michelle Small's doing big things, great stuff. Coming up, world-class coffee served up by world-class baristas on this World Autism Awareness Day. Our series, Our Community, Your Voice. Stay with us. In honor of World Autism Awareness Day, our latest edition of Our Community, Your Voice turns a caffeinated focus to Café Joyeux in Manhattan, which is serving up employment with equal doses of dignity and responsibility to people with special needs. Our Shirley Chan has the story.
One chai tea latte made by Café Joyeux.
They're known for their buttery, flaky croissants, quiches, lattes, and other fine French fare. But Café Joyeux, which literally means happy cafe in French, is so much more than a brightly colored culinary destination.
I get to interact with people, help with food prep, and barista. That are the top 3 things I like doing, yeah?
In the hustle and bustle of Midtown Manhattan, there are plenty of coffee shops, but only one that serves up a beacon of hope for people with special needs. Café Joyeux promotes inclusion by employing and empowering.
Our model is very innovative, because it's not just about employing people with disabilities, it's really about giving them a future, giving them a place in society, giving them dignity.
Sylvie Giray is a company CEO. The first Café Joyeux opened in 2017 in France. There are now 27 locations in 4 countries. 65 to 70% of their total workforce, people with special needs, many with autism spectrum disorder or Down syndrome. Here at the one and only location in the U.S., there's a staff of 22, including 24-year-old Peter Anderson. Peter went through their training program and has been with Café Joyeux since it opened.
Hello, sir. Hello, madame. Welcome to Café Joyeux. Cooking skills and also different life skills for me in the future, and to know how to set up your own business.
Here is your latte. Thank you so much. The founder of Café Joyeux is a Frenchman named Yann Vukai. He met a young man named Theo who told him how difficult it is for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities to find a job. And from that encounter came the vision for the cafe. And Yann was so inspired by Theo that the logo for the cafe is a sketch of Theo's face.
According to Special Olympics, the unemployment rate for adults with intellectual disabilities is more than twice as high as those without disabilities.
They gain confidence in their own abilities, but also in the fact that they can be, for the first time in their lives, be considered the same way as if they didn't have a disability.
It's also about reshaping societal attitudes towards people with neurodivergent conditions. Customers we encountered say they benefit from the interactions as well.
New York is known to just kind of be in and out, on the go, head down, no smiles. This place is very different. Just really friendly and over accommodating.
Working here improved my life because I could be independent, doing stuff that can like help myself.
Café Joyeux also sells their own brand of specialty coffee. The profits go back into funding the vocational training program and supporting their overall directive, a purpose-driven business creating inclusive opportunities, one latte at a time. Peter now sees his dream of opening his own catering business and an Airbnb as an attainable goal.
One Americana with skim, sir.
Thank you very much.
Oh,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
For Community Close-Up, I'm Shirley Chan.
Cafe Joyeux doing incredible work. We love hearing about what's happening in your community, so keep it coming and email us at communitycloseup@pix11.com. I'm your host, Jay Dow. On behalf of the entire Community Close-Up team, thanks so much for watching. See you next time on Pix 11 Community Close-Up.